Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis here. It is May 20th and Xur is here on Nessus. If I sound weird, I'm recording this from like my nephew's setup, so shout out to them for letting me do that. But we've got Telesto. If you don't have Telesto, it is a fusion rifle that occasionally breaks the game. The projectiles will attach at a detonation. Basically, they will attach, detonate, and they will have a void blast to them. Basically, if you don't have this thing, buy it. Every so often, it's fun to break the game with it. We've got mediocre rolls on pretty much all of the exotics. You've got a 60 for Gemini Gestures, dodging, disorients, and removes enemy radar. Pretty good in PvP if you don't have it. It's fun to experiment with. Unfortunately, 2 recovery, not great. High resilience, not great for a hunter. The mobility's not bad, and the intellect, again, is mostly really high and kind of wasted, generally. So the Gemini Gestures, not going to be the best roll by any stretch. If you don't have it, it's good to experiment with the functionality, but you'll probably want a better one. For the Titan, we've got a decent Actium War Rig, definitely as machine guns are about to be strong. If you don't have Actium War Rig, I would at least pick it up, so you've got the functionality, because for Titans, you've got that constant reloading, even while you have the auto rifle or machine gun equipped. Decent recovery, some intellect, some strength, lacking in resilience, but honestly the high recovery is probably going to make this thing worthwhile if you've never had Actium War Rig before. For the Warlocks, we have Verity's Brow. Energy weapons kills boost grenade damage. And you've got a decent spike in Discipline, 9 in recovery here. So weapon final blows with a damage type matching your subclass grant death throws, which provides a grenade damage bonus and grants grenade energy. When you have death throws and throw a grenade, nearby allies gain greatly increased grenade regeneration for a short time. Could be an interesting one to mess around with solar grenades with Solar 3.0. Always looks a little weird, but you do have higher mobility than I'd probably look for on a PvE kind of one. Some resilience, but you got almost 10 recovery, but good discipline for a Warlock one. Again, the exotics themselves are all in mediocre department, but if you don't have any of these before, they're still better than like a 48 or a collection roll. Over here for your exotics, you got a Hawk Moon via the Storm. Probably not worth your currencies, and you've also got Dead Man's Tale with Outlaw. Again, not really worth it. There are better perks on both of those. For the weapons, Hipfire Grip on a sidearm and Elemental Capacitor. In theory, I know some people could probably put some work in with this one. You can get a little bit of range out of this, but between these two, I've seen probably better. On the bow, Quick Draw and Demolitionist. Most bows you are going to be looking for Archer's Tempo right here just for that draw time, so that one's kind of lacking. Killing Wind and Unrelenting on Eternal Blazon, not really anything that's even worth picking up. Snapshot Sights and Explosive Payload, I wish snipers were really worth your time. At this point, this isn't really doing anything too exciting for PvE or PvP that's going to make too much of a difference. Firmly Planted Disruption Break, can't really get on board with that one. Machine Gun, I will say 7 Seraph. If you don't have an arc machine gun, and we're going into the season that's going to have some machine guns definitely involved, I would say this is not a bad one. You've got Light Mag for a little bit of reload, a little boost to range, some stability here if you want it, reload speed, auto-loading holster if you put it away, Vorpal if you're dealing with champions, which we may have, machine guns dealing with champions, who knows. If you don't have this one, might be worth picking up actually just in case, because it could be good. Field Prep, not a bad thing. Thresh on a rocket launcher, not so much. For the armor, we've got Holdfast Gloves with a 66, but you are lacking in recovery and discipline, and this is on a Warlock. Not great. 57, can't really say that's worth it. A 65, decent recovery, discipline, and if you're into a mobility build, that's not a bad one. Huge amount of resilience on a Warlock with low recovery, just can't. Even with a 65, I can't really say this one's worth it, unless you're just like going to a crazy resilience build, but I doubt there's a Warlock who's really going for that one. So the only one that's kind of okay, Helmet on this one. For the Hunter, you've got a couple options. You've got, this is pretty high in resilience. It is a 66. It's not a horrible roll. Decent discipline, okay recovery, some intellect, some strength. Hunters do want mobility and not resilience. So unfortunately, even if this is 66, the 20 in resilience, not really sitting in the best spot. So it's kind of wasted, personally. Not really one I would go for. Now the 63 here, on the other hand, this is a little better. Not quite as high in recovery as I would like, but a spike in mobility. Some abilities for like discipline and strength, and some recovery. Actually not too shabby. If you don't have great armor, could be worth a pickup. 60 here, high recovery, high intellect, high strength. Low mobility though, again for a hunter is kind of hurting. And then finally we've got leg armor at a 59, not really worth it as well. Alright, last but not least we come to the Titans. You've got a 63 stat roll, high mobility, high strength, kind of mediocre in the middle. Kind of, okay if you're looking for that middle ground. You've got a 62 high resilience, some mobility, high discipline, some strength. The only problem with this one is you're lacking in recovery, But the spikes on this one actually might be worth picking up because resilience and discipline alone could be beneficial. Mobility, not bad to have some for movement. Got a 60 here on the stats. Kind of a weird spectrum. A high mobility again, not really helping too much on the Titan. And then the 59 not doing a lot overall. So overall for the final week of Season of the Risen, it is pretty mediocre, I would say. There's not a ton here. If you are a newer player and you're missing a couple of the exotics or you're looking for at least a slightly better role, only what I would say is if you are a newer player, not having a machine gun could be a problem next season. So make sure you pick this one up because autoloading and Vorpal, not the worst thing if we're facing champions. Machine guns have that option. If you guys did enjoy the video, drop a like below, leave a comment if you've got questions. You can find me on Twitch or Twitter. I will be streaming Tuesday morning for sure, live when the trailer goes up and doing a frame by frame and everything. So come twitch.tv/Ebontis Tuesday morning, hang out there. Thank you guys for the support here. If you are subbed, thank you. If you aren't subbed, hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell. Those of you who are YouTube members or Patreon subs, thank you for that as well. Have a good one. I'll see you soon.